The best Minecraft gun mod is back, but not in the way that you'd think. Modern Warfare Cubed is basically an edit of the most popular gun mod out there, Vic's Modern Warfare mod, which was discontinued. And you may have seen my last video on the brand new Vic's Point Blank gun mod, which is by the same creator, but this basically updates the original Vic's Modern Warfare with more expanded content to improve the experience, and also introduces models which are more humble to the original Minecraft art style. Modern Warfare Cubes adds a whole bunch of different categories, including armor sets with different camos, as well as weapons which you can see range from assault rifles, sniper rifles, shotguns, pistols and SMGs, as well as some melee weapons as well, which have also been added. Of course, all of the weapons inside Vic's Modern Warfare are actually modelled off real life firearms, and they come complete with authentic sound effects and animations, as you can see. Now, an important thing is to actually go into the Keybinds section to have a look at all the available keybinds. Some of them may not be available because they've been taken by other keys, so you'll need to actually remap them. As you can see, we have the inspect button, which is P. We have the open door button. We have proning. So if we press Z, we can actually go into prone mode in Vic's Modern Warfare, which not everyone is actually aware of. The only problem is it doesn't actually show this in the third person view, only in the first person view, which might actually ruin the immersion in multiplayer. Also, there's a keybind for the custom inventory, which goes straight from the normal inventory to the Vic's Modern Warfare inventory, where you can add all the tactical gear. Also, when we press P, we can actually inspect the weapon. So just like in Counter-Strike, we can hold P, inspect the weapon, and take some really nice looking screenshots to share. Unfortunately, when we press the F1 key to hide the GUI in the interface, we can't see the weapon, which is kind of a little bit irritating. And on the right hand side, you can see the ammo counter, which obviously changes when we fire, and of course when we reload it also changes the amount of ammo in the reserve, but since we're in creative mode it stays 100. If we press B, it switches the fire mode, so by default it's on single shot or semi-auto, and if we press B again we can go into burst fire mode, which as you can see packs a serious punch. Now this is of course going to be different for different weapons. Some support auto, some only support semi-auto. Now the M key goes into the attachment mode, which a lot of you guys will be really impressed with if you haven't seen this before. From here we can add a series of modular attachments, so we can add the NATO silencer for an example. We can change the sights, so we can put on the ACOG sight, the rear iron sight, the reflex, or the EOTech hybrid, which is basically like a holotech with a magnifier, which is basically a holographic with a magnifier on it. We can also change the grip, which requires certain mods to add. And on the right hand side you can see attachment mode, which we can change from here and add attachments, as well as lasers. And on the left hand side you can see the weapon stats. It shows the velocity, the damage, the fire rate. We can also see the damage, the recoil, the fire rate, and the inaccuracy meter. And on the right hand side we can switch to modification mode. So from here we can actually change the different pieces. So the front sights, we can change the actual receivers, the handguard. These are all of course visual changes. And the stock, which you can see changes at the back. So you can really customize how a weapon looks with this modular system. Under customization mode, this is where we can select different skins, which I think arguably kind of makes them look worse, but there is some pretty cool skins in here. So if you want to have camos, you can also select them here. You can see there's some pretty crazy skins like this toxic looking one here as well. And if we press M again to enter the customization mode, now we have a fully custom weapon with some really nice looking animations. Of course, most of these animations, like the sprinter ones, don't translate to third person. Unfortunately, third person animations aren't that good, but the aiming down the sights does have a basic animation. And you can still see that we have particles and visual effects as well. I do want to mention there is some particle effects which have been added on the mobs here. So you can see we have these dripping blood effects which come off the mobs, and also when we hit the floor we have small smoke particles to show impact marks, as well as particles from the blocks like dirt which fly out on impact too, which looks particularly good when we hit wood, and it makes different sounds based on the blocks you fire at. So we have box sounds for an example. And I do want to mention this is the M4, so when I said burst fire earlier, it was in fact auto mode. I'll just show you an example of the recoil too. Now it doesn't leave bullet marks in the wall, so you can't actually see the recoil pattern, but it does have quite a lot of kick to it. There's also a tablet and camera system, so if I spawn a cow here and throw one of these cameras on it, it now says tracking cow, and I can actually switch to the camera screen. I'm going to show a GIF on screen right now because it actually crashed my game, but I'll show you what it looks like. There's also a gas detector for an example, which is kind of self-explanatory, which shows a ticker here. Also, they've added this category of creative props, which you can only spawn in creative mode, which are kind of like these really nice decorative pieces. So you can use these when you're actually building maps. There's like dead zombies, there's like impaled bodies. There's some pretty crazy blocks they've added here. Some of them are really cool for interiors, and some of them, like these forklifts, would be really great for decorating exteriors as well. Also, these creepy body bags, which kind of give me San Andreas vibes, like those body bags in the desert. There's also blocks and ingots. For an example, they've actually added some really good machinery blocks. So I'll just spawn the weapons and armor workbench and the ammo press, and I'll show you the interfaces. So when we right click, they've basically added this really nice system where you can access the player inventory and access the inventory of the block itself. You can dismantle weapons, and then also you can craft weapons from this block too. So if I want to make an AK for an example, in a very similar way, I think they're inspired from Mr. Crayfish's gun mod with this because it looks very similar. It'll show us the materials required. So we have nylon, gunmetal plates, steel ingots, and wooden planks. And if we have these, then we can actually craft the weapon. Now from here, we can also craft any single attachment in the game as well. When we're not in creative mode, we'll actually require the gun crafting bench to actually make these. So you can see we have all the reflex sights, ACOGs, aim points, and small micro sights, as well as things like the silencers and suppressors. And then also we can craft different chassis for different weapons as well. And finally, also the armor here, which I will be showing a little bit later with the weapons in this video. So let's just craft a weapon just to show you an example. So I'm just going to spawn all of these materials which I need to craft this weapon. Okay, so now we have the materials. I can go ahead and we could technically craft this. So we can throw these inside the inventory of the block there. And then once it's in the block, we can then use those materials to craft. So we can press craft and there's a progress bar, and now we're crafting the Remington ACR of Modern Warfare, and it shows you the time remaining as well as a progress bar. So now we just wait and then we can craft our weapon. Do bear in mind, we do need things like ammos and attachments to further customize it. So all of this stuff needs to be crafted if you're in survival, which is a big headache, which is why I always test this stuff out in creative. So now we can see we've outputted the Remington ACR, so we just left click it once and then it'll put it in our inventory, and now we've crafted our first weapon, which actually has single shot, burst fire, and fully auto. And of course it works exactly the same if we want to add attachments onto this. It was a lot harder in the old versions of VIX Modern Warfare, by the way, to add attachments. I did forget to mention this. This modular system is in one of the newer updates, so anyone who played the old mod will actually understand how much better this is. Also, what was annoying in some of the original versions of the mod is they spawned mobs and bad guys which only had shotguns, which was kind of inconsistent and super boring. But now a lot of these new mobs, you can see we have like this automatic turret, we have soldiers, we have T's, and a lot of them have different weapons like M4s and M16s. I'll just spawn a few variants real quick. So we have soldiers, and if we spawn the soldiers, they can actually spawn with different skins. They don't all look the same. Some of them have these like ghillie suits, some of them have the dark grey suits. Then we have T's, which will fight the soldiers, and they also can have different appearances. Which makes for some absolutely brutal fights. Okay, let's spawn some more turrets too. So we have the normal silence turret, we have the upgraded turret, we have the MWC turret, and then also this other silence turret. Then we also have the ammo press, which I forgot to show earlier. It kind of functions the same. You just fill up the items from the inventory into the block's inventory. And then from here, we can craft all the different ammos which the weapons support in game. And it will show you the materials required on the selected ammo, the progress, and you can craft them in the same fashion. And this is also why you can actually craft all the grenades and explosives. The only annoying thing about VIX Modern Warfare is finding the right ammo for each gun. When you hover over a weapon, it will show you a series of different stats and modifiers. You can see it shows the type of the weapon, the damage, the fire rate, and the magazines. It shows which types of magazines match this weapon and which ones you can actually use. Now, unfortunately, a lot of them start with the same letters. Like, for example, it says 30 R&D. So you have to then type in 30 R&D, and then also some of them are 30 R&D, 762, 556, 9x19. So they're all like completely different, but they start with the same letters. So unless you know a thing about guns, you're gonna have to read precisely to get the right ammo pack. Because if you craft the wrong one and it doesn't work, you're gonna have to go and get the materials again. One thing I see people not actually mention is also the military backpacks in this mod, because this mod is obviously more about the firearms, but we have a few different military backpacks. So you can see assault backpack, and it shows the size, which is the inventory slots as well. And we'd go into here, and then we'd actually put it inside the VIX Modern Warfare interface, and then from here it'll give us a new tab. You can actually see the backpack's inventory slots here. Now to close out this video, I'm going to show you a preview of all of the weapons, all of the nades, and as much content as I can. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comment section down below, is this your favorite gun mod? Is there a better one? And which mod do you want me to review in the next video? And I'll see you real soon.